Number 2.
Number 3.
Number 4.
Number 5.
Hello, my name is Jacob Toll, and this is my persuasive speech. Imagine being alone at night in your home. You are upstairs watching TV, and you hear the sound of breaking glass downstairs. Suddenly, you realize that someone or something may be in your house. You grab the shotgun in your closet to protect yourself. While standing at the top of the stairs, waiting, the would-be robber takes one look at the shotgun and runs for his life. What would have happened if you didn't have a gun? Would the robber be deterred by a baseball bat or some other insignificant weapon? An article published by the National Rifle Association, written by Dr. Paul Blackman, supports the fact that of criminals that were surveyed, over 40% would be deterred by victims with a gun. This fact alone could certainly prevent a lot of unnecessary deaths of people being victimized in their homes. Creating stricter gun laws will not lessen deaths or make people in this country safer. Our founding fathers were careful to protect this right from the earliest time in history, and it is still important today. Our Second Amendment states that every citizen in the United States has a right to keep and bear arms. Have you ever wondered why the founding fathers thought this was so important? Michelle Malkin, a noted conservative journalist, quoted, "If it weren't for the courage and convictions of an armed citizenry willing to go to the extremes 2 centuries ago, none of us would be here today." If you can recall, it was the common people, farmers, shop owners, and community people who armed themselves and became patriots who stood against the tyranny of the well-armed British redcoats. Suddenly, we find our nation in a battle again. This time, it is a battle of those for and against gun control. But will imposing stricter gun laws be more effective in preventing violent crime and make people safer? A recent story published in The Guardian, a newspaper in the UK, titled "Norway's Gun Laws Prove Easy to Ignore," points to the fact that even the strictest gun laws are ineffective. Norway has some of the strictest gun laws in the world. Yet a madman and the group he gathered was able to commit numerous terrorist attacks on Norway in July 2011. These attackers were able to bomb a car and openly fire upon a camp of Labour Party supporters. These attacks left nearly 70 people dead and many critically injured. A Norwegian was quoted in The Guardian as saying, "Gun control is a failure. These dirtbags do not obey laws, and a person who wants to do a mass shooting will put the time and money into getting the equipment necessary to do the job." Even in our own country, the Center of Disease Control published results found by the Task Force on Community Preventive Services on their website that did not support the need for stricter gun laws. Their study concluded, after spending thousands of taxpayer dollars, that the effectiveness of gun laws was insufficient and could not be measured effectively. Regardless of laws put into place, people will find a way to acquire guns and ammunition. Here in the U.S., black market sales of guns are rampant. In a public broadcasting station interview, ATF agent Jay Wachtel stated this, "Let's be honest. If someone wants a gun, it's obvious the person will not have difficulty buying a gun, legally or through the extensive United States black market. So I ask you this. Will more and more gun laws help lessen violent crimes and deaths? If not, what is the root of the problem of violence in our society? Our society today glorifies violence. Video games, movies, music, and books are filled with behavior that makes killing seem natural. Many music lyrics are about death, dying, anger, and aggressive acts of violence. How do these things affect the behavior of individuals growing up in this atmosphere? While most individuals remain unaffected by these things, others take on behavior characteristics that are abnormal. A study by Calvert and Tan in the Journal of Applied Development Psychology suggests that playing violent video games may make children more likely to attribute hostile intentions to others. A National Rifle Association spokesman and movie star Charlton Heston was quoted in the Denver Post when asked if the prevalence of guns might have contributed to the shootings at the Columbine's high school. Heston said he had talked to the father of a girl who was killed in the massacre. He said, "I'll tell you this. This is not about guns. This is about maladjusted kids. While there is a necessity of reasonable gun laws, creating more restrictions are unnecessary. Present gun laws are sufficient and do not penalize law-abiding citizens. The Brady Act was established to protect law-abiding citizens, and they are reasonable and logical laws. These laws, as listed on the FindLaw.com website, are as follows. You cannot have a gun for personal or business use if you were convicted of a crime punishable by being in prison for more than 1 year, are a fugitive from justice, are addicted to or illegally using any controlled substance, have been ruled mentally ill by a court or committed to a mental institution, are an illegal alien living in the U.S. unlawfully, received a dishonorable discharge from the U.S. Armed Forces, renounced your U.S. citizenship, are subject to a court restraining order, or were convicted of domestic violence. While these laws may not cover every conceivable scenario, they are sufficient and do not infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens in the U.S. While it might seem logical to encourage stricter gun laws in the U.S., when thinking of the tragedies such as the Columbine school shootings, Congresswoman Gabby Gifford shooting, and other tragedies that have taken place, it is unrealistic to think that stricter gun laws would have prevented these things from happening. Bad and sick people are still going to get guns no matter what law is in place. It is interesting to note that Dr. James W. Wright, who was once a strong supporter of gun control and attacked gun owners through various articles, after studying the gun control issue more thoroughly, changed his attitude dramatically. Wright and his research partner, Dr. Peter Rossi, concluded that fear of the armed citizen and the threat of tough punishment for using a gun or other weapon in committing a violent crime are significant factors in both punishment and deterring crime. According to the results of a survey of imprisoned felons, while reasonable restrictions need to be in place to protect us all, stricter gun laws will not only violate our constitutional rights, but will not effectively save lives. Guns are a part of many Americans' way of life, and I would hate to think that we would all be penalized because others choose to use guns inappropriately. A famous motto quoted by the National Rifle Association says it all. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. I hope this has persuaded you to consider all the facts about gun control and realize that this is our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. We should not allow our government to create stricter gun laws because, as you have heard, imposing stricter gun laws will not lessen deaths or make people in this country safer. Thank you. My name is Jacob Toll, and this has been my persuasive speech.